Good day. This is Anagalactic on the 17th day of May in 2024, where we are experiencing a slight sabbatical. This is exam week here in Chico for the local college students. They've got their heads down. They're really trying to get into the world on the right foot. Good for them. Where we're at in our series in astronomy and geometry, we're taking a break until June. And the reason I'm producing a daily video is to maintain continuity. The old professor's still here and giving you the good stuff. Ralph Waldo Emerson is my idea of an American. If you don't know much about Ralph Waldo Emerson, you are missing out on the real treat of American culture. Because American culture is not dead. What is projected about America is very manipulated due to the nature of media, which appeals to the lowest common denominator of any society or culture or group. That is, what is presented to the group will come under the control of the organized pseudo-mind that governs the system. And that becomes the filter, which can become a censor. But it's much more powerful than that, because even without strict censorship, for instance, out here on YouTube, YouTube does not want me here. They let me be here. Now, of course, I, as a rational, ethical man, would ordinarily be grateful. You don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. And so I avoid criticizing my sponsor who is giving me a free platform. But there is a hidden cost. It simply doesn't affect me directly because I've gotten in under the wire. But I do not belong on YouTube. I don't fit in any way. Because my approach is absolutely radical, so was Ralph Waldo Emerson's. I've begun reading Ralph Waldo Emerson again recently because I have needed to take a break from my 540 lecture series over the past not even 3 years. It'll be 3 years in June, which is when we're going to pick up our geometry and astronomy series where we left off. Which, let's go over that so we have some content here and you don't just hear me venting and ranting and whatever else I do when I don't want to do anything else because I'm resting. But let's have some content here. Let's sum this up. Where are we at? That's very important. It's critical in science and the scientific process to really have benchmarks, whether they're formally demarked or they just come up in the flow. That's more or less how I work. I don't have everything blueprinted out in front of me. I'm still on the discovery sequence. I don't need to be doing this. There's no reason I'm doing this except the reasons I've told you. So to end my personal side of the story, let me just wrap it up on this note. I do this because I'm under orders. That sounds like I'm just making that up as some kind of, yeah, okay, whatever you want to say, but what does that even mean? It is obviously a personal statement, so you would have to believe that I understand myself if you were going to believe what I say about why I'm doing this. Because there's no objective reason why I'm doing this. This cannot achieve any goal except against the whole grain of YouTube, the internet, the public, science. Am I really part of science? Here's how I want to wrap that up. I'm not nuts, okay? There is an element of that, though. And the reason is the fundamental paradox of life. If you really want to get down to it, what does matter? I mean, it's a reasonable question. What matters? Oh, well, I mean, that's the philosophy room. That's where you want to take that. That's not really science, but it is. It has to be because science has to reflect back on the human equation, doesn't it? There does have to be a reason we're doing science at all. Well, here's the big difference, and this is where I want to cut that off so we can get to our synopsis of what we're doing in science, whatever I'm doing. describe it. Well, I insist on this. There must be a reason for things. That was Ralph Waldo Emerson's premise. It's Albert Einstein's premise too. It's the basis of Einsteinian science, which I subscribe to 100%, which is what? Any rational question that would have a footnote to define what you mean by that, but you know what it means. Any rational question that a human being asks of the universe. That's very important that you're asking it of the universe. You're not asking your professors. You're not asking any other oracle other than the universe. Well, you don't need mathematics for that. You don't need anything for that except your own bod and the universe. Just go out and look at it. That is the beginning of science. And that's what's led to science, was that. The desire to understand. It's not to know. You know what you look at when you look at the moon. But do you understand, for instance, its path in the sky? Well, that was the beginning of science. Was when men looked up into the sky night after night and noticed that things changed position. Well, of course they were curious. That's really the driving force, that you really don't need to say anything else. Unless you have a directed end. That is, you have preconceptualized what your goal must be. That is an alien concept in science. That has no context in science. Science has no directed goals, except in technology. And that's why technology has poisoned the mind of modern man. Philosophically, intellectually, as our role as humans on Earth and in the universe and among each other, underwent a major change under the banner of science. I'm talking about science, not politics, not religion, not culture, not society, not anything emotional or strictly human. Science is supposed to be objective. We're getting the facts from the universe by measurements and observation, from which you get structure. And then it very much helps, we've discovered, if you have a metric system for your structure. Well, we do have one. It's linear spatial separation. The number line, our numbers are linear numbers. Our mathematics, our algebra, our calculus, our complex number system, the sine-cosine system, all of this has been developed out into an advanced, extremely powerful mathematical structure, which is continuously now, and for the past few decades, being expanded in such a way that it absolutely traumatized my parents' generation and part of my generation, and the trauma has never subsided. It was never fixed. The trauma remains. And physics currently, all of physics and anybody involved in physics trying to understand what the scientists understand, which is my role, is to assist and promote understanding. Well, we're in PTSD, which I believe stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. Is that right? PTSD. It's a very popular term now. Well, you're living it. You're living the life of a PTSD victim if you're in science and trying to understand the cutting edges, which are two. So we're beginning our synopsis. That was a nice seg, wasn't it? A nice seg. Let me teach you a new word. S-E-G-U-E. That's pronounced, now watch, seg. If anybody else says it a funny way, oh, get 'em. You have my permission. I'm not even going to say it because it sounds so queer. No, I have to do this. This will be uncensored. I hope YouTube doesn't cut this out. They haven't done that, by the way, although I did get a warning once when I ranted against Israel, I was like Hitler, which is inappropriate in any case, whether you're a scientist or not. You don't rant against Israel like Hitler. That's going to get you a bad mark. I got one. I have a community strike. Yeah, I mean, it's been removed, but it's on my record, so I better not do it again. I almost did again, because I don't like what Israel is doing, so whatever. A scientist is a human and should act like one, but, you know, there's a fine line, right? You know. So where we're actually at, where we just are starting to define, you and I are on a course. Let us use an analogy. Let's draw a small parable here for illustration, because this is actually, Ralph Waldo Emerson says something about this. This is actually the best way to communicate. And that all things have meanings, and you should use the meaning of the thing in order to communicate. So it makes sense to me. I hope it makes sense to you. It made sense to Emerson, so that's a big plus. So we are on a schooner. It's a beautiful yacht. You're happy. You're drinking cocktails. You're having Mai Tais. You're having whatever you want. Smoke, I don't care. You're on my ship. You're having fun. You know, there's rules, but everybody aboard my ship has been screened, so no problems. But you're on the ship. You're on the schooner. I don't know boating very much, so this is going to be kind of a stressed parable. But we're on... but the basics should be obvious. It's a 40-foot. Is that good? I think that's pretty... That sounds big to me. Well, okay. Oh, we have Largo's yacht from Thunderball. Okay, we have the Visco Delante. I'm dyslexic. It's Disco Volante, not Visco Delante. The Disco Volante, the Frisbee. So we're aboard the Frisbee. Or it could be a spiral galaxy, but let's not get too complex. And we're flying through space. I'm sorry, the water. on this beautiful schooner. If that's even a nautical term anymore, I'm not sure. Don't worry about this cough. It hasn't killed me yet. It's allergies and asthma, and I'm in Chico in spring. Oh, God. That's why I look like... blech. That's why I wear dark glasses so much. Sorry. Should edit this out, but I won't because I want you to see me suffer. I look like I'm suffering. Fucking can't suffer again, ever again. Whatever happens to me, I'm going to heaven. That's all I know. I'm just happy. So I do this out of the goodness of my freaking heart. That's all I am now. It's just a total altruist. I just give everything away for free. Because I could be dead in a puddle of snot any minute. Just admire your professor while he's still here. So we're on this schooner, and we're going through troubled waters. It's a windy day, and, you know, maybe you're not having as many Mai Tais. You're getting maybe Disco Vladi, though. I know what to do. I'm the captain. We'll just... You're just riding along on the airfoils. Now, hey, no turbulence. You just boom. Just, yeah, puff, drink. Everything's good. I'm the captain. I'm up there with a big wad of snuff in my cheek. Just, hey, there's some dolphins. There you go. So we're going through the troubled waters of science, and everyone else is on on what we identify as basically barges. They're just, and they're happy. They're hey, we had the Big Bang over here. Zzz, we just say we only have to pay attention to them for a second. Yeah, that's Marty. Looks like you're making a lot of progress with that Big Bang. Yeah. And we just keep going right towards the goal. This is, you know, I don't know, the magic island. That's be part of our parable now. We're getting there to heaven, whatever is the goal of science, wisdom. We're on our way. We know where we're going. They're back there on their barges. Hey, we got the answers. It doesn't look like it. Quantum mechanics, we had to sail right. Zing! I showed you the signs. Yeah, there's the Planck limit. There's, you know, there's entanglement. There's superposition for you. You know, down in the cocktail lounge, I have diagrams laid out on the coffee table for you to examine. Just pick it up and you fucking know more than they ever will ever know about it. My God, they seem to be dumb. Now we can't wait. Yeah, we're on our way to Magic Island. Okay, that's how it works. I'm already basically, my spirit is already on Magic Island. Just, yeah, come on, you know. So you're on a good ship. You're on the good ship Disco Volante that used to be owned by Largo, a major enemy of James Bond, which makes us the good guys, because James Bond actually is the enemy. Did you know that, you know, that's, I shouldn't have brought that up. We have to have a little seg. A force seg, which then is called a red herring, which when I first heard that, I spit my beer right on three of the guys. Then I had to run, of course, until they calmed down. But I was laughing. Red herring, blark! The hell does that mean? Well, there's no such thing as a red herring, apparently. I don't know herring that well. I'm not a seaman. I know, right? There's a good pun. You should be howling. He said seaman like Butthead. He said seaman. Yeah, seaman. What's that? This would be me with red herring. So we sailed right through these people. You know, these scientists. Sure you are. You don't seem to be getting anywhere, but you're making money, so God bless you, you know. Just, we know God is not blessing them, but you try to be civil, you know. You try to be diplomatic. Because we don't own the waters, okay? We do not own this bay or whatever it is. We don't own Magic Island. I do, but nobody else does. Because I'm the only one there. I'm the only one who's made it. See, your captain is certified, okay? Certified by heaven. I don't have too many rules. Just be happy. Make sure you're happy, you know? Well, that's my job, is to make you happy. Am I? I'm not sure. Let's try a little harder from my end. So we sailed through time-space, and we sailed through the quantum region, and we went all the way to the edge of the universe several times and came back so I could show you what no one else is ever going to tell you or care about. The structure of the universe, the actual things that are in the universe, what they're like. You're not going to get that from the scientists. All they care about is, oh, the universe is expanding like an upside-down saddle, and that means that there's black holes with white holes on the other side that makes a time-space non-continuum because our number system is broken right at the center, so we think there's a big bang, and that must make sense because we've taught it to all the kids and can't back down from it now because it would look like we're just dropping our pants and masturbating, which is what they're doing. But man, do they get filthy rich from masturbating in front of innocent children. Just unbelievable how much money the government gives these so-called PhD scientists who just spout nonsense. And now you see I've got to pick... Hang on, your captain just vomited. Bring! Now we're going 120 kilometers a minute. With no porpoises in the way, heading right for Magic Island, and that's why you tune in. So that's the end of our parable there. We're on our way. We are doing science. The scientists aren't, but we are. Why? Because we want understanding. They don't. They're not interested in understanding anything. It's showed for a century. What does anybody know about galaxy clusters? Nothing. What does anybody know about, well, for instance, the supermassive black hole? Let's start there. Because it's such a major black eye. Black. Let's start with the word black. Black. That's supposed to be a scientific adjective? Black? Okay, it's black. Why? Let me guess. 'Cause light can't get out of it. Because it sucks in light because it sucks in everything. Ding, 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 you got it right. I can see you with your hand down your pants, but let's make sure we just get this out of the way. Okay, it's black. Black what? I think you know. It's a black hole. Okay, so that's what they call it. Immediately showing you, yeah, hody, hody ho. Is it really? How do you know that? Oh my God, you must be uneducated. It's because of the mathematics. So I looked into that, yeah, it sure is. Looks like you have a great big hole at the center of your number system. Do you think maybe that has anything to do with it, that you have null? A concept that the universe has never even heard of. Null? You're not going to find anything null in the universe. That's why it's uni. It's one thing. It's parts, it's things, it's real. Null? Oh, yeah. Because Einsteinian mathematics proves it. Yeah, I can see why. You got a great big null right at the center of your four-line system that Minkowski basically gave to Einstein as a graduation present. Never really even called Einstein to task. It's like, how about a little credit there, Albert, for what I gave you, a four-line system that you used my time-space to make your general relativity. You don't even give a footnote to old Hermann, Hermann Minkowski. So there's your supermassive black hole. It has a great big human error at the center. So the center of the supermassive black hole is a hole in the head of all the physicists who think they understand the black hole. They're telling you about the hole in their head. It has a singularity at the center. Now, the supermassive black hole, I will fully admit, is a major discovery. There is such a thing. What there is not such a thing as is an object, even of that supermassive size, 1,000,000 solar masses. Well, that's where the super begins, is at the million. We measure things in solar masses because it's about the biggest thing that's near us that has a weight that we can compute. We compute it due to the orbits of the planets because we can compute their weights. And you might ask, well, how the hell did we compute the weights of the planets? Because we have a pretty accurate idea of what is the weight of our planet. Okay, it is where this always happens. How did you get the weight of the Earth? Well, all of that can actually be extrapolated mathematically correctly and proved. It's very important that you can prove it. This is a little interesting because the concept of weight in the infinite universe is just a little bit difficult to define, but it has been done. So linear algebra works. I consider that to have been proved. So this is nothing against our linear number system. It's against the, I don't want to use a mean or degrading term. The linear number system has incredible value, obviously. We wouldn't even be in outer space if it weren't for linear numbers, lines, linear algebra. Quantum numbers is what they are. They're quantum single component numbers that only work on the line because that's how Euclid defined it essentially correctly, is that the line consists of an infinite number of null points. They're all null. Every number itself is null. It has nothing to it. It's pure relativity. It's distance from zero. That zero is always there. So if you use your bullseye, even with a 4-line bullseye, and put your grid over the supermassive black hole to measure its gravity, and you compute it using your standard linear method to get the gravity of a supermassive black hole, that has been computed, but you surely would be tempted to ask, would you not? And if you're a scientist, you must ask, what method are you using to extrapolate the gravitational potential, as it's called, of that object that you say is a super massive black hole. Well, you know how it got the name black hole? Black, you can guess. The way they always define it to children, anybody interested, innocent, scientific, inquire, what did you discover? It's a black hole. Well, why would they say that? Because of the way conventions are developed is pretty random. I mean, Big Bang was actually meant as a mean joke. And I've covered that. I hope you, well, if you're interested in that, look at my previous lectures. That's where I cover that. But, okay, so what is it really? Well, it's the zero. It's at the center of the bullseye, which therefore is at the center of the supermassive black hole. So they've computed the gravitational potential of this basically invisible object. It's not really invisible in the scientific sense because its presence can be deduced directly. It's as if our sun were black, it didn't have any light, which would mean there would be no solar system, but whatever. Let's say our sun simply were a supermassive black sun. And let's just say everything else is normal. This is the point being that it's not emitting light, and so we don't know it's there. Well, we would know it's there anyway, whether it emits light or not. We know it's there because it emits light. But that's actually not the only way we could find out that it's there. I think you see the point. It's not the emission of light that indicates its presence. It's its gravitational potential which influences the objects around it. So, that's why the object itself, the supermassive black hole, only occurs in one position, a geometrical position in the universe. It's always, always, always at the center of a galaxy. A cluster of galaxies does not have a black hole at its gravitational center. But a galaxy, it is now stated that all galaxies have a supermassive black hole at the center of the galaxy. There's footnotes to all of these statements because the scientists themselves will scratch each other's eyes out because they have different opinions on what is meant by these terms. And they will completely neglect the conversation at hand if there's more than one of them present. Another one will become grossly antagonized by the acceptance of another scientist of what I say. That one scientist understands it and nods, but another scientist is just going out of his frickin' mind and literally cannot restrain himself because of his dedication to truth. And so he'll interrupt the argument and start talking, hey! He's wrong! Not every galaxy! Hey! And I have to take I got this from Bam Bam. Bam Bam from the Flintstones gave me his little tiny club. And it's just a club. It looks like a turkey leg. It's big and round. And you hold the drumstick end. And as the scientist is frothing at the mouth and interrupting my discussion with the real scientist, I just go, hey, what? Whack! Right here. And then the problem is over. That's your captain. That's how I deal with things. And that's 30 minutes. That's enough. We'll be back with more. I hope you enjoyed that. I believe we made a lot of progress today, don't you? And that's it. Option S, will I set up pause and restart? I could pause this and continue it later. I'm not going to do that. That's 30 minutes. This is Galactic. Keep looking up. We'll be back. It's really June. Count on June 1st. I need some time off. That's why I'm so relaxed right now. We'll be right back. Stay tuned, okay? The best is yet to come. Oh, daddy-o, it's infinite too, so you're in good shape. Stay tuned.